Okay, today I want to talk about this, the Dewalt 60V brushless string trimmer. Basically, I was very skeptical. My son bought one of these a couple years ago. He loves it. I liked using his, and they've actually made a few improvements since the one he bought. This has, the arm comes off and you can put attachments on here, which we'll get into after a while. He also didn't like the head on his, and he thought that the guard was too small, that you constantly got crap thrown back at you, and they seem to have taken care of those issues. So anyway, this has a 9 amp 60 volt battery on it. That's what they call their flex volt, so it'll work with their 20 volt tools as well. I could put it in my cordless screwdriver if I wanted to. Anyway, nice tool, and I was just going to show you real quick under this pin oak. It's really hard to mow under. Give you an idea that it does have some power, more than you'd think from an electric one. Gives you an idea. Yeah, it's a really nice tool. When I was looking at what to get, I went back and forth between the Honda with the Versatach and the DeWalt. I love Honda small engine stuff. I think they're the best in the world, but I wanted to go electric this time because I do think it has a little less vibration than the gas engine. So I mean, obviously it still vibrates some, it still spins, it's still a lot of work, but it's not quite as hard on these old shoulders and arms as the electric or the gas engine is. So what I want to do is take you in, show you the way we put string on it, the way the battery looks and goes on, show you the different attachments, and maybe demonstrate each of the attachments. So that's what we'll do. So I took the string head off. I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. It's real easy. It's just a lot easier to work with if it's just this. So to put new string on, basically you've got 2 tabs on each side. Pretty easy to take off. So you push those in and that guy pops right off. It's got a pretty strong spring in it, so it's a little harder to put on than it is to take off, but it comes right off. And then you have a spool here on the inside, and you have this piece. So this piece is what rotates when you bump it to release more string. The spool does not come off, which is kind of different. All the ones I've ever had, you take the cover off and then the spool would come out. You'd wrap the string around the spool and put the spool back in. This one doesn't work that way. So you've got 2 eyes on it, one on this side and one on this side, and almost like you can see, it's almost like a straw there. There's like a tube or a tunnel that goes through the spool. So what we need to do, first thing is, we need to feed, well, we need to line that up with the other hole. Okay. And then, I think that's right. Yeah, that looks right. And then we need to feed that string in. It goes into that tube or straw or whatever you want to call it, and it comes out the other side, and you might have to twist it some to get it to come out the other eye, but I did. There we go. Not too bad, a little bit tricky. You want to feed this through so that's roughly even lengths, just so that when you get done wrapping it you won't lose any. Doesn't have to be exact, but should be fairly close. Let's see, good enough. Alright, whoop, don't want to drop it. Alright, then while you hold tension on that, I'll take this screw, or nail, and if we go down to this side, you'll see there's this little cutout here. You turn the spool a little bit, and there's the matching point. So that's, you can put that in there, and that'll keep the spool from turning. Okay? So now what I want to do, with the tension, a little bit of tension on the line, I want to turn this piece clockwise. Okay? And you've got to, that didn't work. There we go. Alright. So this is kind of a pain, but it's not terrible. The problem is when you're twisting it, the other end of the string is going to get all twisted out. So every so often you might want to kind of straighten that out because it's kinking up and everything else. So this is just basically filling up your spool for you. Okay, all kinked up again. Probably my least favorite part of this trimmer, gotta say. But it's not bad. And quite honestly, the string holds up pretty good. I've actually threw some out to make this video because I didn't really need to do this. It's just using a 0.08 gauge or inch line, pretty common stuff. I use the DeWalt, the genuine DeWalt replacement, but any would do. Almost done. Now, I wasn't quite even, but close enough. And take my nail out, and then you put these two tabs back in here, and you got to push it in. It's a little, like I said, it's a little tough, but it went right back on there. Okay, too long, but that's okay. When you speed it up, it'll cut that off. So we should be able to do that right now. Actually, before we do that, let's look at the other end. So this is the motor for it. The safety release, so you push this in, down, and then you squeeze the trigger. Okay. There is a high and a low as well, depending on what tool you're using. Haven't really run into anything where I'd want the low. Maybe the edge, no, I don't know. I don't know why you'd really want that, but you can change it down to low if you want to. Then you've got your battery here on the back. So as with all DeWalt batteries, you have a release button and it slides off. So like I said, that's a 9 amp battery. It does have a battery checker on it, which is really nice. Just push the button and it tells you, yeah, you still, according to this, have 2/3 of the battery there. So, and with any of the DeWalt chargers, again, it just slides in. So, and squeeze that to release it. Okay. So I'm going to put that back. Again, push it in and down. Okay. Now, the way we did the attachments, you'll see, actually here, maybe you can see, there's the inner bar there that accepts the square line from the attachment. So we have this guy here that slides into that, and you have this dimple here to hold it. So basically, let me move you down here a little bit. Okay, so really easy. You've got a little side thing here where the dimple goes. Put it in there and hold on. There we go. And then you have this nut to, you want to tighten it so that you don't put any extra pressure on that. You want it to be as solid as possible so it doesn't wear itself out. Alright, so we're back to being a whole piece with a new string on it. Let's go outside and make sure that spins okay and cuts it off. Okay, so I've got way too much string on here, but again, thumb down this way. And it cut it off just the right length. Okay? Alright, so now what I want to do is try some of the other attachments, just to give you an idea. Okay, so first attachment, and I just got these guys. It's been in the garage a couple days, but I just got these guys. So this is their brush cutter. We have a lot of multiflora rose and blackberries and stuff that would tear the line up, and I wouldn't make a whole lot of progress trying to cut through, but this stuff, this is supposed to cut through it. Now it's not very sharp. I think it's just basically by sheer force, but again, showing you how easy this is. Undo the nut all the way out, push the dimple in, pulls right off. Oh, they do give you a little cap here. I'm going to keep those. The ones I'm not using I'll keep covered so you don't get a bunch of gunk down in that. Push the dimple back in. And there we go, there we go. Tighten the nut. Okay. Now that. Kind of nice. Circular saw on a stick. So I'm going to go down in front by our mailbox and see how it works against some actual serious weeds. So we've got some actual flowers in here, but you wouldn't know it from the back anyway. Our daylilies, or road lilies as we call them, are starting to take off, so I've got several of those going, but I've got a bunch of this woody weed stuff I don't want. So anyway, just to see how this works. Okay, worked pretty good. It's not the sharpest thing in the world, so you have to work on it a little bit, but it's probably a safety issue too, because literally it would be a circular saw on a stick. But it would do what I want it to do, and it's well worth the $75, which I think is what this attachment costs. So, alright, Next one is we bought the Hedge Trimmer, so give you a chance to see that. Alright, this is the most expensive of the attachments, at least of the ones I've got. It's the Hedge Trimmer. So it comes with this sleeve. It's the way it's packed. I think I'm going to keep that. Seems like a good little safety precaution to keep on there. And again, a little cap on the back. So if I... Whoop! Some fallout from down when I was cutting that stuff. Alright. So we take this off. And again, the dimple here is over here. So this one kind of lays out a little differently. See, it snapped right in. So now on this one, I'm going to have to do it sideways. The handle accommodates that, so I'm good. If I do my release here, I've got my hedge clipper. So I'm going to go clip this one bush and see how it works. Okay, so one thing I forgot to point out to you is it does have the ability to adjust the angle on this guy. So obviously it's straight right now. You can pop this rod out and move, angle it up like this, or even tip it down some. So I'm guessing if you want to, yeah, I'm not going to screw with it. If you want to do the tops or bottoms of, tops of some tall stuff, it might come in handy. I'm going to leave it flat for right now till I feel the need to do that. So let's see how it trims. Yeah, does a good job. I'll finish that later. Alright, last one is our edger. Okay, this is probably the one I'm the most skeptical of. I'm just not sure, although it's just a straight blade, so our dirt's pretty hard, it's a lot of clay. I don't know how well this is going to work, but we'll give it a try. So again, take this guy off. Cap off. Alright, we'll give it a try over here. So there is a nut on the wheel too, so you can adjust the wheel for depth, however you want it. So we'll be cowards and go about midway right now. Okay. Now this is, obviously it's new, it's not maintaining, so maintaining would be a lot easier. Oh, I got out to the black paper, I didn't think it went out that far. Well, that did a pretty nice job. A lot better than I thought it would. Again, well worth the money, I think. Alright, so I hope this was helpful. I'm like I said, a former skeptic that's now a true believer. And by the way, the batteries last quite a while. I did around our house before I even started doing the video, and then I haven't charged anything since I started this. I've been doing a variety of different things on top of what you've seen on the video. So, and it's still, oh, now it is down to 1/3, so the gauge is working, but it needs charge, but it's not out yet. So I think I paid $320 at Home Depot for the trimmer that came with the battery. You have to watch that because a lot of the tools come tool only, and you need a heavy-duty battery. So probably 2 if you're going to do a lot of work. To me, this battery will last longer than I will. So when the battery dies, I'm ready for a break anyway, so it's okay. I can charge it. So about $320 for the tool with the string trimmer. The edger and the brush trimmer or brush cutter were about $75 each. The hedge clipper was more like $120. It's the most expensive of the attachments. So that's what, $270, $600 for a suite of tools that I can do an awful lot of stuff in the yard with, and a lot of stuff around the house. The wife's going to be ecstatic about having an edger that we can actually make a nice cut all the way around. We've had this grass growing in, we've had hard plastic edging that was on there before that gets chewed up and everything else. She wants a nice professional looking lip, and I think this will cut that. So like I said, about $600 gets me everything I need, except for there's a couple attachments I don't have, and I don't know for sure. There's a blower. DeWalt makes a really nice standalone blower, so I don't know if I'd want the one that goes on the string trimmer. I'd probably just want the standalone blower. My wife would probably use that some, and that way she can have her thing, and it doesn't mess up my string trimmer, quite honestly. And the other one that I do want is they have a pole saw. So the pole saw would be nice to give you some idea. That's how we leave for our driveway. All those trees going through the driveway, all that stuff needs trimmed. Having a little chainsaw on the end of this stick that I could go through there and trim off a lot of that stuff would be a big blessing. So anyway, hopefully, again, this was helpful. I think it's a good tool. I recommend it. If you like the video, like it, and if you want to, subscribe. Thank you.